Hey, we have got an awesome treat for you today if you like caddis. Not to eat, but to fish.
Dude, that's a big brown.
Okay, summertime is synonymous with caddis patterns. So we thought we would pick some of our, at the moment, top 5 favorite caddis patterns that you need to either have in your box or learn how to tie. The link for all these will be in the description below, but we're going to start off going with nymphs all the way up to adult patterns. And again, there are so many caddis patterns, but these are 5 that we're grooving on right now. So starting off with our favorite caddis larva, and that is Lance's GTI caddis. So this one here is a great nymph pattern. You can fish this year-round. Lots and lots of caddis in most streams and rivers. So another reason to make sure you have enough caddis patterns to cover the bases here. But the GTI is one that I'll fish year-round. It fishes probably a little better when the caddis are a little bit more active, but this is a great one to have in the box. My favorite colors would be cream, and then this olive one as well. But it's a good one. You can use it as on a Euro nymphing rig. You could use it just on a regular indicator and split shot sort of rig. And it'll get down, lots of caddis around, so this is a must-have in the box. Next up is the Pupa Caddis, and this one has a long history. If you want to Google it up, it used to be called Fox's Pupa, P-O-O-P-A-H. This one is a great emerger pattern, so what I'll do on this one is if the caddis start to move and I see fish, if I see the caddis start to emerge and maybe fish are not super active on the surface yet, you can fish this pupa in the film or down below. So you could do like an indicator with just that fly beneath it, a foot or two, depending on kind of where the bugs are and the fish are holding. So this is a great pattern to use as the bugs are starting to kind of work their way up to the surface. And even when the fish start hitting on the surface, you can be relatively guaranteed that there are going to be just as many fish feeding right below the surface. And this pupa is a phenomenal one for that. So if we work our way up the water column now, we're going to talk about caddis emerger patterns. And one of my favorite styles of flies in general is the missing link. I've been a fan of the missing link patterns since they came out. There's a really cool story behind it if you want to Google that. But basically, the missing link is one of those, can imitate a bunch of different things. So in this case, this one's patterned to be more of a caddis. The reason I like it is because it also can double as maybe a mayfly or something else on the water. So it does have a caddis-y profile, but then the legs will splay out like mayfly might. This is one in particular. I'll fish this style for betas, PMDs, drakes. But as a caddis, it actually does really well because this has a very thin, tapered body, the abdomen. So that will, in my mind at least, sink a little bit further into the surface film because it's skinny, the profile is nice and thin, and it's got a buggy upper body. So the caddis, as it's emerging, got a bunch of wings and stuff popping out trying to become a big boy caddis. So this one covers that. I like the way that it looks on the water. Really, really fishy. And so that's one that I like to have in my box at all times. Now, similar kind of concept is the Palomino caddis. And so this is one of Cheech's patterns. We've done a couple different tutorials on it. It's one that's usually always in our box. And this again would be, you could fish it as a regular old adult. It has a great profile, little extended body on it. But it also has that abdomen that can kind of sink down and be a little sparkly attraction to the fish if they're still maybe eating the caddis in the surface film. One telltale sign of that would be a really splashy rise. So fish in general are going to chase the caddis down. That momentum, if they are eating either in the film or just beneath it, can often take them out of the water. So you may think they're eating right on top, but they could be eating subsurface. So that's where this missing link and the Palomino caddis can also double as those emergers so that you're able to fish both on and in the surface film. Our 5th pattern is one of the most popular caddis patterns that we sell, and that's Lance Egan's Cornfed caddis. This comes in a variety of shapes and sizes. You'll want to size this to wherever you're fishing, what size the naturals are, but it's basically a big fluffy ball of CDC. And by looking at it, especially if you haven't fished CDC patterns much, you wouldn't think that it floats very well. However, if you treat it with something like Loon Loxa or Dry Magic from TMCO, that will actually work itself into the barbules of the CDC and help it float. It does not mat them down per se. You want to make sure when you're fishing the Cornfed that you keep it very dry so that that floats. The other nice thing about the Cornfed, if it's treated properly, you can skate or skitter it across the surface film. Or if you want to look at something really cool, search back in our YouTube channel and you're going to see a video where Lance shows you how to fish this on a Euro rig with the dry fly being a dropper, and then a nymph kind of pegs that into the water, and you can kind of just pop that dry fly, the Cornfed, off of the surface of the water, and the fish will just go nuts because they just view that as a caddis coming down to lay eggs or escape from the surface, whichever. So these are 5 patterns. Again, when you fish areas that have a lot of caddis, which basically is any river or stream, then you want to make sure you cover the bases of the hatch. So we're talking larva to pupa, and the pupa to emerger, and then adult. These will cover those bases. We're going to have links for all of them and any tutorials that there are if you want to tie these. We also have them on our website at flyfishfood.com, but click the link below.